Hey everybody, it's MommaOG. I am back with another reaction. Tonight I have a donation request from Patrick. Patrick, thank you so much for your suggestion. He's asked me to listen to a group or an artist called Porcupine Tree. Porcupine Tree, am I saying that right? That's not a word I say very often, so when I said it the first time, it just sounded kind of funny. Porcupine Tree? And the name of the song is Arriving Somewhere, but Not Here. I believe he suggested this after he watched my reaction to Rush's Cygnus Book 2, The Hemispheres one, which made me cry. So I'm a little intrigued what this could be because I have never heard of this group. So because of that, I'm going to do a little bit of reading just so I get an idea of who they are and where they come from. Porcupine Tree are an English rock band formed by musician Steven Wilson in '87. During an initial career spanning more than 20 years, they earned critical acclaim from critics and fellow musicians, developing a cult following and, and became an influence for new artists. The group carved out a career at a certain distance away from mainstream music, being described by publications such as Classic Rock and Pop Matters as, quote unquote, the most important band you'd never heard of. Oh boy. The band began as a solo project for Wilson, who initially created all of the band's music himself. By late 1993, however, he wanted to work in the band environment, bringing on frequent collaborators Richard Barbieri as keyboardist, Colin Edwin as bassist, and Chris Maitland as drummer to form the first permanent lineup. With Wilson as lead vocalist and guitarist, this remained the lineup until February 2002, when Maitland left the band and Gavin Harrison was recruited to replace him. Porcupine Tree's early sound evoked various styles of psychedelic rock, space rock, experimental rock, later moving towards a more progressive space rock direction comparable to that of Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd's in my top 3 favorites of all time. Upon singing with K-Scope record label in the late 1990s, the band began to approach a more mainstream alternative rock sound. By the early 2000s, the band had signed to a major record label and shifted their sound again, this time to a more progressive metal direction. Okay, in 2010, after the tour in support of their 2009 studio album, The Incident, the band became publicly inactive as Wilson committed himself to his solo work, and other members began working on their own separate projects. However, Wilson, Barbieri, and Harrison continued to intermittently work on material in secrecy over the course of the following decade, leading to the release of their album Closure Continuation on 24th of June 2022. Okay, so they're from England, progressive rock, progressive metal, post-progressive, psychedelic rock, experimental rock. They have 2 active periods, 87 to 2010 and 2021 to present. So it looks like Colin Edwin left as well, and there's only 3. Same 3 that worked on over a 10-year period. They worked in secrecy. Okay, I think that's good enough info for now. I'm kind of anxious for this. They're comparable to Pink Floyd. Should be interesting. I've got my earbuds in. Let's go ahead and take a listen. Released in 2005. It's interesting. It sounds like there's an acoustic guitar there, but it might be like digitized or something. Or it might even be a keyboard made to sound like a setting for acoustic guitar, or I don't know. It sounds more like an actual acoustic guitar with some kind of effect on it or a pedal or something. I don't know. Like that.
Never stop the car on a drive in the dark. Never look for the truth in your mother's eyes. Never trust the sound of rain upon a river rushing through your ears. Arriving somewhere, but not here.
Definitely hearing
Imagine the final sound as a gun.
Pink Floyd comparison.
Or the smashing windscreen of a car. Did you ever imagine the last thing you'd hear as you faded out was a song? Arriving.
Did he say, did you ever imagine the last thing you'd hear as you're fading out is a song? If that's what he said, that's really strange, because I have this weird thought about when I leave this world. I wonder if there's going to be music playing, and if so, what's it going to be? What song am I going to leave this world to? It's so strange. Sorry.
Was a song. Arriving somewhere, but not here.
That guitar is definitely giving me, I'm hearing the Pink Floyd in that. I keep thinking I'm hearing a little bit of like, not like, the only word I can think of is like a warping sound, where the tone or the key, the whole song changes slightly, but I don't know if that's happening or not. I'm sorry that I keep pausing it. This is a long one.
But not here. All my designs simplified. And all of my plans compromised. And all of my dreams sacrificed.
Digging this. crap, this sounds kind of different. Ooh. It's fucking incredible. Wow. Mm-mm. This, that guitar part was amazing. And I was going to say before this tempo changed again that it had the drumming, the drum line in that part felt like almost a marching type of beat, but it was like a build up beat for some reason. That's all I wanted to say, but I'm going to rewind it just a little bit. Keep going. This is really incredible. It's like an anticipation. And then bam.
Did you see the red mist block your path? Did the scissors cut away to your heart? Did you feel the envy for the sons of mothers tearing you apart?
fading out. Wow. Um, that took me by surprise. I thought because it mentioned Pink Floyd that it was maybe probably going to be a little disappointing because, in my opinion, not a whole lot compares, if anything at all, to Pink Floyd. They are in their own little bucket, as are many bands and artists, but they just happen to be like in my top 3 favorite bands of all time. But I'm pleasantly surprised that even though I could hear that comparison of Pink Floyd in there, certain, like the echo on that last, there was a couple of phrases where the last word was just infinitely echoed. That reminded me the guitar at one point in it, like early on, and just the fact that the composition of it changed. It had transitions and building, and then in the middle of it, and this isn't necessarily a Pink Floyd thing that it reminded me of, but in the middle of it, there was this heavy metal guitar that was extremely aggressive and just perfectly placed in that song. And then immediately followed by a softer, classical like guitar section. And then after that, when it broke back into like yet another transition of, it felt familiar and I felt like comfortable with the song at that point. And I don't know if that makes sense. I said at the beginning that I was a little anxious, but as soon as like I heard a couple of lyrics, I can't quite remember exactly what they said, but that I could seriously relate to. Something about everything we knew was wrong. I definitely heard in the beginning some interesting sound effects, and throughout, it sounds like there's maybe at least 1 or 2 things that aren't necessarily an instrument that they used as music in that, especially that kind of clicking or shifting noise in the beginning, which is always cool. I definitely recognize the space rock aspect of them in this song. And I now understand why this came after watching that Rush reaction. So it makes perfect sense. It was kind of a progressive vibe like Rush is. It was a journey for sure. There were transitions, there was intensity there in the middle, like aggression, which is great in a piece such as this. I am just absolutely flabbergasted at how good that was, how much I liked that, and I was so nervous about it in the beginning. And it kind of blew me away, to be honest with you. That's definitely one I'm going to have to play for Mike. I'm interested to see what he would think about that. He likes Pink Floyd's his favorite band. So, Patrick, thank you. That was absolutely surprisingly amazing. And I need to know what else from them I need to hear. It sounds like there's a lot of years of work there. I'm interested to know, that song came out before their sound changed, it sounds like, when they signed with a record label. So I'm interested to hear probably more of the earlier stuff first to kind of, get an idea of what they sounded like before they kind of changed things up a little. But I'm also interested to see where they went with it. Sure. Thank you once again, Patrick. That was amazing. I appreciate you all being here to watch. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.
There's one man who's their best friend.